Okay, so welcome everybody. It is March 15th, 2023. We're part of the Alma 2023 Roadmap webinar series, this time discussing Alma Digital. We're joined today also, I am Yoel Cortex, Senior Librarian at Ex Libris, and we are joined also by Daniel Greenberg from Product Management, specializing in, among many other areas, Alma Digital as well as Rosetta. And Daniel will be able to answer any questions someone might have about specific dates and specific future plans, etc. But we want to cover a lot of topics today. Let's go take a look at what we want to cover. So this is the Roadmap webinar series, which you all have the link to. I will send out the link anyway. I know many of you registered from here, so for sure you have the link, but I'm sending that anyway. Okay, so what are we going to show today? This was originally called Improved Digital File Display in the New Alma Viewer, but we actually want to show much more than that. So the first topic will be the improved file display in the new Alma Viewer. You have links here to PowerPoint presentations on the topics. We'll be showing everything live today. Then we want to talk about the Internet Archive book reader supporting right to left paging. Then how to add a video and view a video with captions in the universal viewer. We already had that functionality in 2022 for the Alma viewer. Now we have it as of November 2022, the end of November. We're including it in the 2023 Roadmap series because it got in just at the tail end of 2022. The ability to add those captions to a video, an MP4, for example, and then use the universal viewer to see it. So that's what we want to cover. I actually also want to cover, time permitting, one other topic. It's not part of the 2023 roadmap themes, but it's a question that comes up all the time, so I want to address it. It deals with the hiding repeating labels and using delimiters in the description section when viewing a digital object. Because it comes up often, I'd like to stick it into this 1-hour session, time permitting. But we will for sure cover the first three topics. So you've got links to all of the presentations, which are on the Roadmap Themes page. Let me send out this one as well. This is a page with various presentations about Alma Digital, and it has a section specifically for the Alma 2023 Roadmap theme. Same presentations, which you can find here. And this is the release notes. So this is the 2023, as you can see, release notes. I have filtered it through Search Digital Resource Management. So we will be talking about this, the Internet Archive book reader supporting right to left pagination, the Alma viewer enhanced to improve the display file, and we will, from the end of 2022 release notes, this is the 2022 release notes, the captions supported for the universal viewer and the IIIF manifest, but we will be focusing primarily on the universal viewer. Okay, so before we jump right in, I'm just going to take a look here and see what do we got. If there's anyone asked any specific questions or anything. Let's see the chat there, and I don't see any questions. So let's begin. If you should have a question or comment during the session, feel free to send in a chat, and I will be periodically stopping to check the chat. Okay, so let's close that one, and let's begin with the improved file display in the new Alma viewer. And what we've done is created a situation where users can by default change the PDF zoom and whether the panes on the right and left, panes, P-A-N-E, on the right and left will by default be collapsed or not collapsed. And we've also used all of what's called the web real estate where the picture is displaying, the image is displaying, and we've moved the file name. So let's jump right in already. I will close this example. And let's go configure the Alma viewer. So to get to the Alma viewer, we go to the configuration menu. On bottom left, I click configuration, then fulfillment. And under discovery interface display logic, right here, we have viewer services. Within the viewer services, we have the Alma viewer activated, and we will edit the Alma viewer. Okay, so first of all, we have use new viewer. That's already for quite some time. Now notice here, I do not have that hide repeated fields, which I said I wanted to talk about. This one here, the hide repeated fields. Where is that one? Yeah, here. This one here, notice I do not have a label, hide repeated labels here. And we're going to talk about that at the end, why I don't have it. So what's new here is expand content pane. I have it checked. Expand description pane. I have it checked. And a PDF default zoom, which I'm leaving here at 100%. So these are the three new fields right now within the Alma viewer configuration that we're going to focus on. And they will, and via these configurations, we will see changes in the Alma viewer, and we'll also see some other changes in the Alma viewer, which are not dependent on these three parameters. Okay, back to the PowerPoint for a moment. And so we went into the Alma viewer. We used to have only use new viewer and hide full text. Now we've got all of these fields. Again, we see this hide repeated labels, which we don't see in my environment. We're going to see why. But we're focusing on the three bottom ones, which are new. And here I've got comparative examples, but we don't need the comparative examples right now. We'll just go right in and take a look. So I'm going to do a search here for a record, and I'll view this in Primo. So it'll really be like the end user is in Primo. Display and discovery. Now, this is a 7-file representation with some very large files. It's scaled up maps. And all 7 files are in the one representation. So we're going to scroll down. You can see, first of all, even in the quick access, the file is taking up, it's a very heavy file, very high resolution. It's taking up the entire screen here, the entire section here. And here, let's go view it in the Alma viewer. So I'm going to click Alma viewer. And again, it's filling up the entire screen. It's not taking just part of it. When I say taking part of it, I've got screen captures of previous versions here. So we've got all 6 representations. You can see they're large files, relatively speaking, 119.4 megabyte. So we went into the Alma viewer. This is what it used to look like. You can see it's taking up, before the new development, it's taking up a very small portion of the whole screen. And you can also see the file name is in the section where the actual image is showing, and therefore it's taking up more of what we're calling valuable real estate space. Let's go see what's actually happening in Alma. Okay, look, so now the file name is up on top here, so it's not taking up all of that valuable space. Now there's an issue here with the resolution while I'm showing this via a WebEx. But you've got the screenshots here to really see what it is. Via screenshot, we can see the difference. See, it's taking the whole screen. And before the new development was taking just a small portion of the screen, and the file name was taking up valuable space. So the file name's been moved up on top. But it's because I need to change the resolution via the WebEx that it looks like it's not taking up all of the screen here. Now, this pane on the right and this pane on the left are automatically being displayed right now. And if I want, I can collapse them, and then I can reopen them. Now, the reason they're automatically open right now is because if we come to the Alma viewer again, which is under Configuration, Fulfillment, Discovery, Interface, Display Logic, Viewer Services, Edit the Alma viewer, these two checkboxes were checked. Now I'm going to uncheck them. They're not checked. And we will save. And we will again take this record and display in Discovery. I'm going to bring it in brand new. Eastern Turkey and Asia. Let's go see how an end user would see that in Discovery. And we will go to the Alma viewer. And now you can see the panes on the left are by default collapsed. That's because we defined inside the Alma viewer that they will by default be collapsed, which allows the user to see, as we see now on the screen, a file taking up maximum real estate. Right now, we got maximum real estate being used. The right pane, excuse me, and the left pane are both collapsed. And the file name here on top where it says sheet 24 has been moved up, so it's not taking up all of the valuable real estate. So that's as far as the real estate goes and as far as the collapsing of the panes go. I'm going to stop for one moment and see if there's any questions or comments. I'm going to just go take a look in the chat. Okay, I don't see anything in the chat. I will do a quick check here. Just send in a message and say, yes, we hear you, Yoel. Whenever there's no questions or comments or anything, I like to make sure everything's working okay. Anybody hear me out there? Everyone's still with me? You can send in a chat and say you hear me. I don't see any responses. Okay, people are answering now. Thanks a lot, everybody. Okay. Now the PDF zoom. Let's take a PDF file now and see a new feature there. So I will close these. Let's actually take a brand new hot off the press Vermont. If you people out there are digital library aficionados, perhaps you're familiar with what's going on with Vermont State University and their all digital library. I'm not going to call it a fiasco, but that's what the higher education, what is it called? Subjects in higher education. We'll go take a look at this. This is a PDF of a hot article right now. Vermont State University combined 3 different institutions and then wanted to close the library. Okay, so close the physical library. So I'm going to go view this now in the Alma viewer, a PDF. And you can see here, I still have everything collapsed there. You can see it's defaulting here to 100%. And then if a user wants to change it while he reads this, he can come and change it, or she can come and change it. However, we can change what will be the default there. So let's go change what will be the default. So back to the Alma viewer. So we're in configuration, fulfillment, discovery interface display logic, and viewer services, Alma viewer. And I'm going to say I want the default zoom to be 150 by default. I'm also going to expand those panes while I'm at it. So now we saw a moment ago, it was default zooming to 100%. We changed the configuration here to make the PDF default zoom be 150%. Save. Okay. Let's go give it a shot now. Let's search for another one this time. Mobile payments in the library. Exploring consumer adoption of mobile payments. Okay, let's go take a look here. Display and discovery. And now it's automatically defaulting to 150%. Oh, that's even in the quick view. Here, let's pop in to the Alma viewer. And there we are, 150%. So we were able to change what will be the default for the end user when he or she opens the file in the Alma viewer. And that should be the same for the other one we saw with the Vermont Digital in the library catalog. Let's say we want here, let's just get that a little bit more specific. Vermont Digital. And instead of doing display and discovery, we'll just find it directly in Primo. Okay, we'll just add a couple of keywords there. There we go, bingo. All right, so this one also should be defaulting now to 150. Let's go open it in the Alma viewer. And there we go, defaulting now to 150. So that covers the basics here. Let me see if there's any questions or comments. I will go into the chat again. No questions or comments in the chat. Okay. Daniel, if there's anything you want to add, go ahead. What I would like to show here, while we already have these open, let's go back to the mobile payments. Just because we're already in a place here where it's showing something very appropriate. I want to jump into the other topic, which I stated I wanted to show, which deals with this hide repeated labels and delimiters for repeated metadata. Okay, so I'm going to explain something now. Let's scroll down here. Let's go view this in the Alma viewer. Okay, this record, exploring consumer adoption. Let's first of all bring this down to 100. This record, let's go see this record in Alma. It has 3 subjects, all 650 second indicator 0, Library of Congress subject headings. If we come and we look at this, we see here those 3 subjects. We see the label subject. Then we see that there's a pipe, this thing here, as a delimiter between the subjects. We also see that when I come to configuration, fulfillment, discovery into interface display logic, viewer services, Alma viewer, I do not have the box here, hide repeated labels. What's going on here? If we come, I'm still in configuration. If we come to fulfillment, discovery interface display logic, other settings, we have a parameter here called delimiter for grouping repeated delivery metadata. And I have a pipe there. If this field is filled in, then when there are multiple fields, whatever is here, I'm going to make it a space, semicolon space, and save. Whatever is here will delimit those multiple fields. And the option to hide repeated labels will no longer be there. So now let's just try this one more time. We're going to go into the Alma viewer. And this one has 2 subjects. So now we have space, space, semicolon space instead of a pipe. If we were to remove that altogether, let's also try the mobile one. just so we're fair, showing everything before and after. Mobile payments. So here with the 3 subjects, we display in discovery. And we go into the Alma viewer. The 3 subjects are separated with a space, semicolon, space. Again, this is not a development of the 2023 roadmap. The question comes up a lot, so I think it's a good opportunity to address it. Now I'm going to remove altogether that parameter. So again, I'm in configuration, fulfillment, discovery, interface, display logic, other settings. Now it's empty. And make sure it's empty and not a space, because I had space, semicolon, space. If I only deleted up to the semicolon, I'd still have a space. So that really is deleted. I'm doing a bunch of deletes and backspaces. It's gone. Okay, so now if I come into the viewer services and into the Alma viewer, now I do have the option here, hide repeated labels. I'm going to uncheck it. So I'm not hiding repeated labels. We'll say save. And let's see what that means, that I am not hiding repeated labels. See if this is enough to refresh it, just going back in. There we go. So I have subject library science, subject education higher. I have all of the both subjects in this case, because it's the article of Vermont State, which had 2 subjects. This one here is that's still the Vermont State. Let's get the one on exploring mobile payments. Okay. This is the one with 3 subjects, and you can see subject that, subject that, subject that. I'm going to take a picture just so we have something to compare later, but we're talking about this section here. Now we're going to come along and check the box, hide repeated labels. Alma viewer, edit. We're going to check now, hide repeated labels, save. And let's just refresh here. Now we have one label and all 3 subjects, one after the other. So we have 3 options here. Option 1 will say hide repeated labels, which is what we've got right now. Option 2 is to make them appear like this with the label and then what it is, label what it is, label what it is. Third option, to use a delimiter. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or comments. Daniel, if you want to add anything, feel free.
So thanks, Jan. I'll just add regarding the all the features that you showed before the repeated labels. The idea was to have the viewer as content-centric as possible. Understanding that for many collections, the metadata could be trivial, and really the main area of interest for the end user, for the patrons, is the actual content of the file. So that's what we allow with the zoom, with removing all the sort of the real estate around it, expanding the section of the file itself on an expense of the different labels and so on. So feel free to experiment with it in your sandbox and then to go ahead with your production.
Okay, and further to that, you all have access to this PowerPoint. I'm not gonna go through everything. Everything we did is in here. So the expand content pane, the PDF zoom. So you're welcome to read this on your own. So let's close this one. And the same is the case for the repeated labels. You can view this on your own. It shows exactly how everything works. The delimiters, etc. Okay, so let's move on now to our next topic. We can close our picture. And let's just close these just to clean everything up. Okay, let's talk now about right to left pagination in the Internet Archive book reader. And for this, I do want to show the beginning of the PowerPoint. So Internet Archive book reader is another viewer. And let's pop in there for a moment. Here it is. I'm in the same place as I was before, the viewer services, which is configuration, fulfillment, discovery interface, display logic, and then edit whatever viewer you want to edit. So I'm going to edit the Internet Archive book reader. And there's a new option here as of November 2022, paging direction by content language. Now, how do we get the content language? Let's go into the actual bibliographic record. And let's do a little search here. Who can already tell me? Let's do a little trivia just to get the crowd a little more lively. Where would I define the language of the record? Not the language of cataloging, the language of the record in a Mark 21 record. Let's see. I'll give you a hint. It's not only a field, it's a position. Anybody? That's right, 008, position 35 to 37. Okay. The 041, yeah, it could be the 041, but typically there's one language defines 35 to 37, typically. Okay, so let's pop in and see. So this one here, this is a translation of the first book of the Bible, the Genesis, to Yiddish. Yiddish is a right-to-left language. We're going to see what are the right-to-left languages. Position 35 to 37. We have the official code there. In fact, if I bring this into the metadata editor, let's make that a tad larger. And I do a Control F on the 008. Control F is open form. Then we see here the languages. And I chose Yiddish. Let's go back. Let's actually come here for a minute and see this in the release notes. Okay. Sorry about moving all around here. There we are. So all of these, let's look here. When we choose the paging direction by content language, it looks at the bibliographic record. It checks that 008 field, which we just saw. And if it's one of these languages, then it will be considered a right to left language. I chose this language. There are a lot of languages in the world. Not all of them still spoken on a day-to-day basis. Yiddish and Hebrew definitely still spoken on a day-to-day basis. Arabic, Persian also. I'm not sure of all of the others. Classical, Syrish, Samaritan, Aramaic. In any case, if the 35 to 37 of the 008 or the corresponding field of other mark types were to appear in position 35 to 37 of the 008, then it would also be considered right to left. Now, back to Alma. So this record here, I'm going to do a Control I just to get to the inventory. And let's go take a look here. I have 20 files, PNG files. Each one is a page, and I want to view this in the Internet Archive book reader. Cancel. And get out of here. Yes. Now, someone commented, why, when I was showing the Alma viewer, was I also seeing links to the universal viewer? And I'll touch on that right now because I want to show why we're going to see for that file, for that representation, a link to the Internet Archive book reader. So when we're in let me make that a little smaller. When we're in the viewer services, we need to define what files are or are not viewed by that viewer. So if we come into viewer services and I come to the Internet Archive book reader under service availability rules, I state PNG is true. This, again, is not a development specific to 2023. This is just how the viewers work. So I want to answer that question of why, when I looked at that PDF, did I also see other viewers? Here I'm saying for the Internet Archive book reader, only display the link to the Internet Archive book reader if I have the PNG. All of these others are false or not enabled. If we look at this one here, we see I say if the representation file contains nic.png, display is true. And there's all kinds of parameters you can use here. Material type of the bib, usage type, and then after you choose it, you can use different operators. Is equal to, is not equal to, contains. You can also use regular expressions, etc. Like this is a regular expression saying it can be any of these formats. And then there's a default rule at the bottom, which states if none of the above criteria was met, display is false. If I were to say display is true, then everything would display with that viewer. So why did I see before the PDF inside the Alma viewer under the service availability rules, the default for the viewer services rule is always true. So here I didn't say for this file you can see it, for this file you can't. I just said everything. Universal viewer service availability rules. All of these allow any of these types of files, you'll be able to see it. Okay, so I saw multiples because if I'm looking at a JPEG, I'm able to see it in the Alma Universal, in the Alma viewer, and I'm able to see it here as well. Okay, back to our Internet Archive book reader and right to left. So we have our record, which is defined as a language which is right to left. And we have defined in the Internet Archive book reader paging direction by content language. So let's go take a look at that now. Okay, I will take this whole one here because I want to search for it directly in Primo, just so it's not a fictitious way. You know, the user's really coming in, user comes in, user does a search, user finds the record, user goes to Available Online, user goes, in our case, to the Internet Archive book reader. Okay, this is the first page. When I click it, you'll see it's going to move to the right. And then when I click it again, you'll see the pages are going to move to the right. It's going to flip open to the right. Because for those who are not familiar with right to left languages, it's not only the characters go right to left, the whole book or scroll or whatever is written, the whole thing goes right to left. So when I click it, see it's opening right to left. Opening right to left. I'm going to click now on the other side. It's closing right. It's closing the opposite direction. And it is going in the correct way. Now it's opening. I'm going to click again. It's opening. It's opening right to left as I click. When I say opening right to left, I mean the page on the left is going to the right because we need to see. I think you understand. If I had a book open in front of me, a Hebrew or right to left book open in front of me, this is how I would paginate. Now, if, however, we come along and we come to our configuration, fulfillment, back to the viewer services, back to the Internet Archive book reader, and we uncheck save, and we search again for this, and we view that in the Internet Archive book reader. So now you can see already. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of this one so you can really see the difference. Now, first of all, it's on the wrong side because the first page now, when I click it, now it's opening like a regular left to right book. It's going in the wrong order. It's technically the pages are in the right order, but it can make you dizzy because it's flipping one way and you're reading the other way. I'm going to put it back in the viewer services. Save. Okay, let's head back in. Now you see it's on the left. I'm going to go to the picture. It used to be on the right. Back to Alma, it's on the left, which is correct, and now it's opening the correct way. Okay, let's just take a look at the PowerPoint. Make sure we didn't miss anything. Right. We saw that these pages, these languages, excuse me, are considered right to left. If this is the language in the bibliographic record, this will allowing for that. See that it's opening correctly. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or comments there. I'm going to pop into the chat. No questions or comments. Quiet crowd today. Everyone's still with me? Just give a little sign. Yes, we hear you. Anybody? Wendy, you hear me? Peta? All right, people are answering. Great, thanks. All right, now a video with captions that can be viewed in the universal viewer. That's our goal right now. And I have an example ready, but let's make our own example from scratch. So I've got an MP4 file here. Daniel, again, feel free, pop in if there's anything I missed, anything you want to add. Are you still with us, Daniel?
I am.
Okay, great. Okay, so I've got a standard MP4 file here. I'm just going to click it. I'm opening it now with my Windows, whatever software this is. It's a picture of the Earth spinning. It's basic MP4. Inside the PowerPoint, I give the source of where I got it from. It's a free public domain MP4. Then I made let's make a copy of this. Copy, paste. Okay, so this one, the Earth spinning, I'm going to rename this one. This is my VTT file. I'm going to rename this the Earth spinning morning session because we got another session this afternoon or this evening. The Earth spinning morning session. Okay. And this is the regular VTT file. Let's open that with Notepad++. So that means from 0.5 milliseconds until 3 minutes, 3 seconds, 0.5 milliseconds, it's going to say, now we see the Earth spinning. Let's open this one again. So the very beginning here, it's just going to say, now we see the Earth spinning. I'm going to stop it here. We're at position second 3. This is standard VTT. It's not an Alma one. Then from 4 seconds to 9 seconds, it says we can now see the Nile River basin in Israel, an area especially lit compared to the surroundings. Okay, let's just take a look here. So I'm going to continue. Second 4. You see now here, this is the Nile River basin. Here's Israel, considerably lit up compared to the surrounding area. We can also see the boot of Italy. Let's add there at let's do this. We'll make it a little shorter here. We'll make this up to 7 seconds. And then at 8 seconds to 11 seconds, we'll say, take note of the many lights around the boot of Italy. Okay. So now we have something unique for our session, not just what I already made. Save. Okay. Here we go. Let's now, from zero scratch, we have enough time. I'm going to go into the metadata editor. Now I'm just going to catalog very basic. I'm not going to go crazy here, just for our purposes. So we got the world is spinning. And I am in the morning Alma Digital session. Okay, that's enough for our purposes. Just going to copy that so I can easily get it. Save. See if I got any warnings. Okay, just a warning. So that's good enough for us. Now I'm going to make a representation. And in the representation, we will, of course, give a collection. If it's not a remote representation, I need a digital collection. I'm not going to do access rights and all that for now. Now add files. And here's where we've got the Alma D and the captions. So let's upload the MP4 first of all. So I've got that here, 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 here. Okay, so this is the MP4. After the MP4 is loaded, we're going to see that in the Files tab of the digital representation, there's an option to add a VTT file. VTT is a standard file. Again, it's not a invention of Ex Libris. Then we can download the VTT after it's already been loaded, and we can remove the VTT file after it's been loaded. And then, like all other Alma D, we can view it in various places. So let's let that load. It's almost done. Then we're going to add the VTT. Let's just let this finish. This is called The World is Spinning is my bibliographic title. Okay, and she's just about done. And there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to save this. I'm even going to give it a label, the morning session. Save. Okay, so now we have a representation with one file. And we're going to go into this representation. Let's go back into the view inventory. Control I. This time we'll edit the representation. We'll go to the file list. Okay, so here's my MP4. Now we have an option here. This was already done for the Alma viewer. So the option to add the VTT existed last year. There's a movie on it on YouTube. Now we have an option here, captions. Now note here, the only option I have is upload. I'm saying note that. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of that because later we're going to see something else. Okay. Now let's upload that caption. Here it is. The Earth is Spinning morning session, VTT. Okay. Captions were added. Now if I say captions, I can download the captions that I already have, upload, which would upload and replace, or delete. I'm going to cancel because I don't want to do any of those three options. Okay. Let's get out of here. And let's go see our record. Now, I don't think this will be in Discovery yet, but that's fine. We can do it right from Alma. Takes up to 15 minutes to go into Primo V. Let's just see if it's there just for the fun. If it's not yet, we'll do it all from Alma. Oh, it's already here. Wow. Okay. Oh, but it didn't yet get the representation. That's fine too. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So we've got it here in the quick access. I'm just going to do play video here in the quick access. There we go. The Earth is spinning. Let's see if we got the part about Italy. There we go. Take note of the many lights of the boot of, around the boot of Italy. That's what we added to our VTT file. Now let's view it in the universal viewer. And I'm in the universal viewer. This is the information pane, which is by default collapsed. I'm going to click play. There we go. Now we see the Earth spinning. We can see the Nile River basin, etc. And here we go. Take note of the many lights around the boot of Italy. Okay, so we added, we know it's really using our VTT file, and we're able to view the captions in the universal viewer. These captions were already added in 2022 to the Alma viewer. Let's go take a look while we're there. Again, we've got those captions from the file we just loaded. Here, everything is explained here, so I'm not going to go through it. And there is already a video. In fact, let's make sure. There's a video here of how to do this with the Alma viewer. It's the same process. Oh, we got an advertisement. I see something in the chat and I see a response already. Let's just see here. Oh, another advertisement. Okay, 2 seconds. Skip ad. Okay, so in August 2022, we added this for Alma, and you're welcome to view it here. This has a different example. It's an example of some ducks on a windy day around the lake. So you can see here as well. Okay, there were some questions and comments. I'm gonna stop my, no, I'll keep sharing the screen in case it's something we wanna go see, but let's go look at the chat. Chat, okay. Let me just, okay, so somebody asked, could upload 2 or more caption files under the same video file, such as different language caption? Okay, and Daniel answered that that's on our roadmap. Happy to hear if you have such a use case. Okay, so it'll be possible to load 2 caption files where the use case is each one is in a different language. And Daniel, would they both display simultaneously when watching the video?
The idea is, I mean, you see, you have the CC button over there, so there will be a default language, and then the user can toggle between the different languages. That will be the idea.
Oh,
So there is already
okay.
sort of an infrastructure for it. Already today, they can toggle the CC and remove
Yeah,
the
here.
closed captions, right? So it'll actually have the list of languages in the future.
Oh, that would be lovely. Nice. Okay, which is okay. Next. Also, is audio description an option now or on the roadmap? Daniel, you want to take that? Is audio description an option now or on the roadmap?
Well, basically, VTT can be used for that too. Anything really, any textual, if it could either be closed captions, audio description, subtitles, it's up to really your implementation of the content that you have in the VTT.
Okay. If that doesn't answer your question, feel free to clarify. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Okay, I don't see any questions or comments, so we can end here. This recording will be posted to our YouTube channel. It will also be posted to the page here, to the 2023 Roadmap Series page, which we already sent out. And thanks everyone for joining. Daniel, you have any final words before we close?
No, you pretty much covered everything. Thanks, y'all.
Okay. All right. Have a nice day, everybody, and we'll see you in the next sessions. Bye-bye.